So I really do want my bachelor's.
Okay.
I really do.
Nice.
I feel like in our industry and in our film field, you have to deal with producers and they feel and it's sad because people feel like when you're in the art world, you're not intelligent.
Okay, that is so true. I beg to differ.
You're beneath them. And they're like, oh, you have a degree? And I'm like, one of my friends was like, yeah.
Yeah. I have an IT degree that I never got to really use aside from doing techie stuff like this, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get my son to finish, to do IT, because it's real techie. But in our feeling, we're dealing with white men and the producers. You need that. You need that level of intelligence to go back and forth. You need it when you're verbalizing and you're communicating them via email. You have to always be on point when you're dealing with them over the phone. And so you really need those communication skills. You need the business skills when it comes to running your department with the budgets, all of that. It's just not about being creative.
Right.
It's just not about being creative. You have to know how to be multifaceted in all areas and all aspects. It's just not about creating beautiful work. It's also about running a department, being on time, having different schedules. Because, honey, it's a whole lot of wordplay.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get authentic answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. Join me every week as me and my special guest reveal the keys to longevity and success in the beauty industry, from the ups and downs of their journey to the nitty-gritty of their struggles and triumphs. We're spilling the tea on it all, and most importantly, having fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty here, Nakoya Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. Now, on today's episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I have the pleasure of having Nakoya Yancey in the Friends in Beauty guest chair. So Nakoya is a hairstylist and UK-trained wig maker that works in TV and film. She has also worked on productions such as Just Like That, Queen Sugar, Shirley, A Man in Full, and recently served as the hair department head for the Book of Clarence. So welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, Nakoya.
Thank you for having me, Nakoya. I really appreciate it.
I'm so excited to have you. I've never had a hair department head on the podcast before, so that's going to be so exciting. Yeah, I've had makeup department heads, but not hair department.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you.
No problem. So before we jump into all the good stuff, we're going to start off with some icebreakers so the Friends of Beauty audience can get to know you a little bit outside of what you do professionally.
Okay.
So the first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Random facts. I'm shy.
Okay.
As you can tell. I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I went to school with I went to summer school with Timberland, and I went to high school with Pharrell.
Oh, that's really cool.
I never met Missy, but I heard about her. I never met Missy. It was before they left. After we all graduated, that's when they left to go to New York. What else? I don't know. I'm a mother. I love action movies. I'm a son. I have a son, so I'm a boy mom.
Okay. So being from Virginia Beach, do you consider Virginia Beach to be a part of the DMV?
No.
Okay.
It's totally different because I have my 2 sisters live in the DMV area. They're from Brooklyn. And so it's a happy medium because we're still kind of considered the South. Yeah. And Northern Virginia is way different than Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's totally different. It's like the South because we have Hampton Roads. We across the water, it's Newport News, Yorktown, Hampton, and then down across because we have a bridge. And so at the other side of the bridge is Hampton Roads. And so therefore we have, Hampton, Newport News is considered the peninsula. York, Williamsburg, like colonial Williamsburg, you've heard in history. That's considered the peninsula. Once you cross the Hampton Roads Bridge. Then you come to Hampton Roads, which is because there's no Hampton down here, but it's down here. But you have Portsmouth, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Chesapeake. And so I'm like 15 minutes away from North Carolina.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 15
real
minutes away
south.
from North Carolina. We have Franklin down there, Franklin, Virginia, Roanoke Rapids. So no, we're not a part of that DMV area.
Yeah.
With the go-go and all of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm
know?
from DC. That's why I asked. I'm from DC, born and raised, still live here. So I was like, I wonder if they consider themselves
Oh,
DMV.
you never went down here, came down here?
For like the beach. I've been to
Right.
the beach before, but not to like hang out or anything like that.
But you see, it's different. We don't have the subways, we don't have the Amtrak, we don't, it's slower. Up there, it's like,
Yeah.
streets, F Street, W Street, you know what I'm saying? 19th Street, all of that. You got the east side, west side, north side. We don't have that down here.
Yeah,
I don't even
true.
know the difference.
I
We
know
just go
that's
up there and hang out, go shopping. You got Tyson's Corner, you got Pentagon City,
yeah,
Potomac. We go up there and go shopping and then come back down here.
I
So
know that's
it's a
right.
little low key down
I
here.
like
It's not as exciting as DMV. I wish it
okay.
was, but it's not. And
I
we have
like it.
bases. We have all 4 branches here: Army, Air Force, Navy,
Mm,
Marines.
nice. Okay. I
Mm-mm.
like it. I like it. So another one, if you ran into, say, your 20-year-old self right now and you could only say 3 words to her, like what would you say?
Save your money.
I like that. Save your money. You gotta add girl.
Girl, because girl, it is crazy out here.
I
Because we
like that.
came off of a strike and everything is still not back to the way it was. It's still a slow moving train. It's still not back. Because
Yeah.
after the pandemic, it was project after project after project. And now it's still a slow pace. And so
Mm,
we had no idea that we were going to be out of work this long.
right.
No idea. Because my last full-time job was the Book of Clarence. And that was
Wow.
February last year. I came home February 18th.
2023.
February 18th, 2023. I worked here and there in May and June, no, June and July, like here and there, sprinkle here and there in New York, like on American Horror Story and Ghost, because I have 2 good friends that are department heads in keys up there. Like my best friend is was a key on American Horror Story. 2 of my best friends, and then one of my best friends was the department head on Ghost.
Okay.
So they gave me, a couple jobs here and there, and then we shut down on July 13th when the actors went on strike. So
Wow.
I was living off of my savings, and so when that happened, I had kid unemployment, and then I just started back working the week after Thanksgiving. And so I've been day playing on with Erin Hicks and another best friend of mine, Susanna. She's the key on Raising Canaan. The best friend went left and right American Horror Story. Now she's at Law and Order, the first one. The first Law and Order, not FCU. She's over there. So I just been day playing over there. So some people haven't worked since December of last year.
Wow.
Some people still aren't working. My son just went back to work because he's a grip. He went back to work last week.
That is crazy. I'm glad things are starting to pick up though. Like you said, it's still slow, but that I didn't realize it was that long.
Girl, it's crazy. What are the other 2 things? I would say to myself, always put your family and your friends first, because we get caught up in this business and we work, and we don't have time. And I want to say that really hit home during the pandemic. Because being out of town, I work a lot out of town. I missed a lot of baby showers, weddings, just special events with my friends and my family.
Yeah.
And after the pandemic, I made it a point to fly back home, drive back home, wherever I was, to not miss those moments. Because people are so used to you being out of town. It was like, oh, I didn't think you were here. Oh, I didn't think you were. I'm like,
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be busy, so I didn't even tell you.
I know. And I'm like, don't do me like that. Don't do me
Right.
like that. So I made a point to be present, at all those important things. I made it a point to be present, check in with my family. And it's really important to me now because my grandma has dementia. So I have to check in on her. I have to.
Yeah. I went through that with my grandmother too, girl. Yeah.
third thing is I just love just not just with my nephew, my niece, my son, even different women that I run into, younger women, just always work on and instill and believe in yourself, have self-confidence, self-worth, and know who you are. So you won't be wavered and moved, and know who you are and stand for what you believe in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do professionally?
Um, I'm kind of like I don't know, I'm kind of like a cheerleader for my friends.
Uh-huh.
Cheerleader for my friends. I make good peach cobbler.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
I make good peach cobbler. I cook, and people don't believe that I'm a good cook because I'm small, and I'm just like, my dad was a chef. My granddad and my grandma was a chef. So,
Uh-huh.
and what I do love and appreciate is that I work with a makeup artist, Lalette Littlejohn on Queen Sugar, and
Okay.
Africa. She's been all over the place because she was Jamie Foxx personal. She did Wesley Snipes. She did so many people, and so she had the opportunity to travel all over the world. And so with her, working with her for 4 seasons on Queen Sugar, that really enhanced my palate and my
Okay.
food. You know what I mean? Because stuff that I would never ever try, I tried.
Okay.
African food, Indian food. It's just so much. You know what I mean? And the taste and the different seasonings and stuff. And I learned a lot from her in regards
Nice.
to food. And so now when I cook, my son, or if I'm marinating different meats and stuff, because I only eat poultry and seafood, but he eats beef, and people be like, well, you don't eat it. How do you know? And I'm like, I might taste it, just get the flavor, and then, but he'll ask me, and his key thing is like, you have to marinate the meat. You
Yes.
have to marinate it to get the flavor. You have to marinate. You just can't throw it. And he loves cooking on the grill. I don't like the fire. So
Uh-huh.
you gotta marinate the meat. And he'd be like, Mom, what did you do? What did you do? I was like, I marinated the meat.
Right. Hey, friend, I really need your help with something. I'm planning to host my very first travel retreat in 2024, and this is why. I live in DC, but I love to travel. My last few trips, I've gone to Mexico, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, but I'm starting to get that urge to hop on a plane again very soon. And I've been thinking about what I want for myself and what I want for friends in beauty in 2024, and that is to make a bigger impact and build deeper connections while doing the things that we love. Like, what better way to do that than on a bomb trip, making new memories together, learning from one another, experiencing new cultures, and laying out in the sun? What I really want is for us to get into the habit of resting, recalibrating, and celebrating ourselves more. We work so hard on a day-to-day basis, and I want this experience to be an all play, no work type of vibe. You feel me? I'm ready to have some fun and I want you to come along with me. Instead of catching all the highlights on my Instagram and YouTube, all you have to do is fill out a brief 2-minute survey to let me know where we should go, what your budget is, and the best time of year and what you want to do. I'll leave the link here and below in the show notes. I am super duper excited to collaborate with you on this. Let's make this retreat happen and get your passports ready because we getting up out of here. Gotta marinate it. I
So
love it. Okay. When is the last time that you did something for the first time? Have you had any new experiences
oh God.
lately?
Hmm. Mm. Something for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in this house. So working. I haven't really, oh gosh. And usually when I do stuff for the first time, it's usually with my son. I don't know.
Yeah. We gotta get out more.
I don't know. First time. Because no, my sisters, when we go to DC, uh-uh. No,
Uh-uh.
like I kind of like, The last time I did something that I could feel like, it was when I was on a bike going like over 100 miles an hour.
What? On a bike going 100 about like a
I was
motorcycle?
on the back. I wasn't driving. Yeah.
Girl, oh, I'm so scared. I have never had a desire to ever ride on a motorcycle.
For real. My dad used to race cars and my dad used to race bikes. And so that whole speed thing I kind of get from him. So I race in my car
Okay.
and stuff. Like,
Okay.
why y'all trying to race me? Like, what's going on? You're not
Like I
gonna
do this. So
like you ain't gonna win. Like, stop. I
okay.
was on a bike and you got to go down low. And so I like bikes. My dad was like always, I only rode with him and two other people. I don't do it all the time because my dad always instilled in me that you can get hurt really, really bad on bikes. So
Hmm. Okay, I'll
I
take
don't know how to ride it personally. I'll get on the back, but
yeah.
I don't get on the back of everybody's bikes. So
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. And last one, if you weren't a hairstylist, is there anything else you could see yourself doing right now?
a lawyer.
A
My
lawyer?
sister's a lawyer. I have like she's not a lawyer. She's kind of like in the litigation field. So she does contracts and stuff like that. And so she ended up going to law school. I never went. I wanted to go. I started, and then I started school. And I was like, oh, I'm tired of being broke.
Mm-hmm.
And so I I put cosmetology school on hold and started doing hair out the house and trying to go to school. Then I kind of put school to the side and just started doing hair in the house. And then one of the girls I went to school with, because I went to her mom's cosmetology school, she was like, my mom said you need to come back and you need to finish your license and you need to stop playing around and get your license because you almost done. And so then I went back to hair school. But
Yeah,
I always kind of like, I always wanted to kind of be a lawyer for
nice.
some reason I wanted to do, and I don't know why, because I was so shy in school. I didn't get boisterous until probably like like 19, 20, but I did want to go to law school.
Yeah. Did you ever finish school?
No,
Okay.
my goal was I went back in the summer and my son was 10 or 11, and I felt so bad because he did not have a summer.
Uh,
And then the goal was when he went back, I was going to go back so we could kind of finish our degree at the same time. Girl, that didn't work either because it's hard for you to work. And then I was in a salon and then I just was like, and then I'm angry because I can't finish my work and I want to make an A and I made a C. And I'm like, I made a C. Like,
right.
but I do want to go back and finish because I have a couple friends that do have their bachelor's, and then I have one that's working on their master's. I don't know how she's in our hair, the film and television and working on their master's. My sister is back in school. I think my other sister is back in school. I think she only has like a couple more credits to do and she's going to finish her bachelor's. So I really do want my bachelor's. I
Okay.
really, really do.
Nice.
Because I feel like in our industry and in our field, you have to deal with producers and they feel and it's sad because people feel like when you're in the art world, you're not
Mhm.
intelligent.
Okay, that is so true. And
But they
I
feel
beg
like
to differ.
you're beneath them. And they be like, oh, you have a degree. And I'm like, one of my friends was like, yeah.
Yeah. I
And
have an
I
IT
love
degree that I never
mhm.
got to really use aside from doing techie stuff like this, but yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get my son to finish to do IT because
Hmm.
it's real techie. But in our field, and we're dealing with white men and the producers, you need that. You need that level of intelligence to go back and forth. You need it when you're verbalizing and you're communicating them via email. You
Yeah.
have to always be on point when you're dealing with them over the phone. And so you really need those communication skills. You need the business skills when it comes to running your department with the
Mhm.
budgets, all of that. It's just not about being creative.
Right.
It's just not about being creative. You have to know how to be multifaceted in all areas and all aspects. It's just not about creating beautiful work. It's also about running a department, being on time, having different schedules. Because honey, it's a whole lot of wordplay.
Yeah.
If they try to catch you up in, it's a whole lot.
Like in the contracts or just in general with
The deals, your deal memo, your contracts. We have contracts with 798, 706, because I'm a part of different unions. When you have your turnaround times, when they have you outside and inclement weather, flooding, lightning, you have to know you have to know all of your rights because they will abuse it. If you don't know and you don't say anything, they be like, oh, okay.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Oh, she didn't pick up on that. That's her loss. Now,
Right.
definitely
Wow.
with your money, your overtime, when you're out of the country working, they're supposed to pay you a certain amount. Oh, they don't tell you you need to get off the clock. And if you're not off the clock by a certain time, the time you travel, all of that, it's honey, they will try to keep every penny and not give you what is yours. And
Right.
thank God that we have audits because I worked on a show in the Dominican Republic. I filled in for a friend, a department head. I filled in for her because she had to start another project. It was just so many rules that were broken by OSHA. It was just so many rules that were breaking with our safety. It was crazy.
Oh,
So
wow.
somebody said something, and I was getting random checks while we were on strike from them. I was like, oh, like safety checks, random
Yeah.
money being deposited in my. I said, oh, and I get the check, and I said, it was from that show. I said, yeah, they were breaking all types of rules, all types. It was terrible, terrible.
So you actually get paid for it when they break the rules.
Because they do an audit. They have to do an audit, and so if somebody says somebody ended up saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody ended
Dang.
up saying something about it. I was working in the Dominican. I started in Puerto Rico and then we moved to the Dominican Republic. And to me, I just hope and pray that one day soon, hopefully this year, that they get unionized. It's a union in Puerto Rico, but it's not a union in the Dominican Republic. And they take full advantage of those members because they want to work and they don't have the work. And so they're willing to say yes and do everything. Girl, we was in caves with tarantulas. It was terrible.
No way. I couldn't do it.
No lights, caves, steps, like no railing, no lights. It was terrible.
Dang. Wow.
And
Wow.
and people feel like it's glitz and it's glamour. They see the actresses and the stars on the red carpet. They don't know that we have to be sometimes outside in 100-degree weather, below zero below weather, raining, sleet, snow.
Right.
It's harsh conditions. And then on top of that, we're dealing with hair. Then you have the makeup artist dealing with the makeup, and you have to make sure that their makeup stays in place. So we have to make sure their hair doesn't revert back, or their curls don't fall, or they look like they look. The scene has to be continuous. The continuity has to match. And sometimes the elements are not on your side.
Right. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. So you just got finished working on Book of Clarence. I know that was shot overseas, but what was the feedback? What's the feedback so far, do you think,
Girl,
on the movie?
I'd never been to Italy. I had been to England. I had been to London because that's where I went to wig making school at. And I went in August, July, August, and September. So therefore the weather was, once I was getting ready to leave, it was dreary and wet a lot.
Okay.
In August and September was just hot. And I was like, so do you have air conditioning? They was like, no, no air conditioning.
Hey, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I need you to do something really, really important for me, like right now. I need you to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and let the people know how much you love the Friends of Beauty podcast. See, in the podcast streets, I'm going to let you know something. If you don't leave a review, then people don't know that the show exists, and then the show won't grow. Reviews are so essential to the continued success of the Friends of Beauty podcast, and plus, I really just want to know what you think about the podcast. I appreciate all the DMs, but a 5-star review would be even better. I would love to read your review on the show and give you a shout out for being a loyal listener. And if it's not a 5-star review, don't even worry about it, all right? Don't even worry. Just go ahead and send me an email, honey. We ain't got time for that. If you're watching me on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and even leave a comment to share a takeaway from something that you learned so far. If you don't subscribe or give a thumbs up, then the YouTube streets don't know that the Friends of Beauty podcast exists either. You see how this is going? This is a group effort, and I appreciate you so, so much. Okay, I'm done. Let's go ahead and get back into the episode. Air conditioner.
He said, open the window. He said, it doesn't get that hot. I said, here. I said, well, it's hot. It's hot. So in Italy, oh my gosh, we were there in Matera, so it was a lot of limestone and marble and stone.
Yeah.
So it rained more than the sun was out. It was cold. When we left, we got there the Thursday after a week after Thanksgiving. So we got there after Thanksgiving. And so I said, well, they're gonna brought my Canada goose. The chicken's about to be cold out this joke. It was cold. I just didn't expect for it to be that cold. It was dreary, it was wet. Sometimes we had dry days. And then sometimes it was girl, a whole lot of people fell down them steps. Do you understand?
Oh no.
Terrible. I didn't fall, I slipped, but those steps, those stones, they were steep and they were hard. Everybody walked everywhere. It was it was some cars, but everybody walked everywhere. There were older people walking. They walked everywhere. The steps up and down. When I tell you, I came back, I bought this big because it's a lot of dairy, red meat, pork, and I'm lactose intolerant.
Don't do the red meat.
And I don't do
the
pork. And so I was starving, but it was wet more than it was dry. And the blessing was that we were dealing with natural hair. So nobody was silked out.
Right.
Nobody was silked out. And what I love and appreciate about that film was that it was Black people, us African Americans, have all different kinds of nuances of different hair textures. And so you were able to see the element. Everybody in their element, nobody's hair was silked out. Nobody's hair was silked out. Our key, Adelia, she did Tiana Taylor.
Okay.
But that look was already set before I got there, before me and my team got there. Two of us came right after Thanksgiving, and then I brought another one of my crew members in to help with the wigs, because we had like 40 wigs. James was saying it was a club scene, and even though we have people with natural hair, girl, we can't do all of that in one day.
Right, that's a lot.
Had to, you usually, when you have time to get people ready, you might have 30, 45 minutes. And so I started braiding wigs when I was home. And my crew member, my friend, she was like, I can do them. I can come up there, because she lived in Richmond. I can come up there and get the wigs. And I was like, no, I'm already working off of the clock. I don't want you working off the clock. When you get to Italy, I'm gonna get you coming and we'll do it.
Got you.
So it was me, Gayette, Adelia, Fama, Kaya, Adelia, Fama, Kaya. We had five of us braiding wigs, and then it was 3 girls in the background that braided wigs for us too.
Wow. Was it difficult to find the supplies or any of the resources that you needed while you were in Italy?
The only thing that I was able to find, so Matiki, the makeup department head, she had a guy that was from Italy that was helping her with special effects and the beards. So he had a guy.
I love this. She had a guy that had a guy that had a guy.
Like the connect. He had a guy that he got products from, and they were able to get us alcohol, 99% alcohol. So we got that. And then we had a guy that on our team, Daniele, who knew somebody at the Cosmo. It was a store, a beauty supply store. And he was our interpreter, and he gave Sebastian hairspray, because I couldn't find the hairspray here before we left, because something was going on with the formula. Then they changed the formula, and then it was slow shipping out. So everywhere I called, they didn't have it. But you couldn't buy. It was the little tariff thing between London and Italy, and people weren't buying stuff from London because of the tariff, the taxes and stuff, and they wanted to be separate from everybody else. And it was crazy. We couldn't get Bluebird, like we use Bluebird adhesive, the glue. We couldn't get that. So we had to get everything from here. The producer, Garrett, sent his assistant here, because I have crates in my garage, like those big DeWalt black crates that I travel my gear in. And it was too much to send all of those. I have like 20 crates.
What?
But we had she ordered 3 suitcases from Amazon that didn't come. So she had to cancel the order, because she flew in from North Carolina. No, I think she was probably in LA visiting her sister. She flew in from somewhere. So she spent her New Year's Eve on the plane. She came, we went to Target, we got 6 suitcases, and we got everything, and we packed up everything in those suitcases. The glue, then my key, he got some stuff shipped to him. Some of it came, some of it didn't. He had to get a suitcase. I think he brought 2. Because I think you can only travel with 5 or 6. So we got our limit. I traveled with 3 because I already had 3 and a carry-on. He got a suitcase to travel his stuff with. And yeah, me and him, but I traveled with the majority of everything because I didn't want to burden him, because we had to carry anything aerosol, even our gel, our hand sanitizer with alcohol could not be shipped. We had to bring that with us on the plane.
Really?
Everything. And then it's like and then I had to bring that stuff back on the plane because they still couldn't ship it. Whatever shipping company they were using, they didn't want anything that contained alcohol on that shipment.
Wow, this sounds like a lot. It's just so crazy because I did watch the movie, so it's just so crazy. Like when you see things, you just don't know all of the ins and outs, the behind the scenes, the trials and tribulations that go into a production.
Then they sent me a manifest that I had to break down everything that I had. I said, "Oh, I'm not going to do this." First of all, it was in Excel, and whoever did it in Excel messed it up. It was just I was just like, first of all, I don't really care for Excel. I'd rather do numbers. You know what I'm saying? Because I have an Apple. I'd rather do numbers. I grew up, I went to school. We did that in school, in college. We did Excel. So I had to break that down. Just copied and pasted and copied and pasted. You had to have the manifest because they needed the manifest before you ship the stuff out. Did that. And what's crazy is because I'm a tech person, I'm a techie. I know how to do the computers. I know how to copy. I know how to work stuff. And a lot of department heads don't. Some part they don't do it, so they get their keys to do it. But what I do regret not bringing with me was hair color.
Oh, dang!
Because I brought hair for Miss Alfred Witter's wig to make it platinum, make it that white. And in order to make it white, you got to get hair that's already blonde and then tone it. You know what I'm saying? Bring it up a couple more levels and then tone it. And I got all of that stuff in my garage, in my crate. We could not find it in Italy at all.
So what was the workaround for that?
Girl, we had to get Afro kinky hair that we had from his and hers, and then my other crew member went and picked out the blacks out of it, and it was all white.
You see that? That is crazy. The dedication is crazy. So
we had to take the tweezers and pick all of that out. We separated, and then I had to use these mustache curlers, like these tiny mustache curlers. But I was just like kicking myself because I was like, it was like, you're not going to need color. You're not going to need color. And I was like, never let anybody that doesn't do what you do tell you what you're not going to need.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot. Aside from, I guess, picking out all of the black hairs, is it another style that you all had to do that was the most time consuming?
Hers wasn't really, once Gay got that out and I curled it, it wasn't that hard to do her wig at all.
Okay.
I think the most time consuming might have been when Adelia braided down Tiana Taylor's hair for that, when she was on the Chariot. Everybody else.
Yeah, she got a lot of hair.
Everybody else was pretty simple. The wigs for the apostles, like once we got back, I got wigs for them. Because I got wigs for them, so it was just easier not to deal with their hair. Just pop a wig on and take it off. I think the most time consuming might have been that we spent were making the doubles, the photo doubles and the stunt doubles look like the main characters.
Gotcha.
Because those would they would switch or they would mix them up. Production, like, because you had an Italian production and then you had an American production, and so the producers was like, "Oh, he played RJ's stunt double," and we're looking at him. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Like, no, this is somebody totally different, and he is the wrong height. RJ is tall. This dude is short.
Is it because we all look alike?
We know, honey. It was a whole bunch of y'all look alike, and we know. They were mixing up the doubles. I was like, this is So we would switch them around, like, okay, so you're not gonna. We would let them know. We would let the American people. This is the right person, and this is what we're gonna do.
That's so funny.
Yes, it was like this is not Caleb Stunt, the photo double.
Yeah.
They're different heights because they were because
Yeah.
we would have like 2 and 3 different units going on at the same time. So
This sounds like a
it would
lot.
be different people running that unit that weren't running it before. And we would have to say, and then we would have to do Google Translate, you know what I mean? And so I would have to, whatever message that I'm doing in English, I would copy and paste it in Google Translate and then send it to them. And they're like, oh, and they were like, yeah, all right, we on the same, yeah.
Nice.
We on the
Wow.
same page. We in the same library in the same book now.
This sounds like a lot. I know you had to do like some extensive research too, just to be culturally accurate with the hairstyles. What did that research process look like for you?
Well, I brought my Robert Carson's book.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't help. It didn't help because there are no pictures of us. I Googled, I YouTubed, and I researched, and there might have been like one man I ran across and he had a little mini afro, you know what I'm saying? And everybody didn't have Cleopatra braids. That was
Right.
like not that was just, a movie. And so basically, I want to say I just went back to the movies that I might have watched with my grandmother, Ben-Hur, Cleopatra, all those old movies, Ten
Mhm.
Commandments, and we kind of, and then when I went on YouTube, all of the different African tribes in the braided styles they wore, we just put a twist on it and tried to bring it more more
Yeah.
visual and more attractive, and to bring out everybody's cheekbones and nuances and just make them look beautiful, which was a blessing that we were able to make natural hair phenomenal on
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
On screen.
Such a perfect time for this too. I've seen some people like recreating styles. I was telling Matiki, even the henna that they did on somebody's head. I saw a girl do that recently. Not to say people weren't doing that, but I'm noticing that people are starting to pick up on the styles, and even just those tribal styles are like really popular right now. I forget the name, but it's like a lot of different styles going on with natural hair that people are like really rocking.
Stepping out of the box and just doing creative work and
Hmm.
unapologetic about it, which is
Yeah.
a beautiful thing to do because everybody does not like natural hair. And I'm just like, but it's natural hair, so why do you you know what I mean? And
Natural hair.
right, it's natural.
Yeah.
That so just feeling comfortable and beautiful and being able to, because our background, our people were from all over the world, and so we were able to enhance them and make them beautiful. He was flying people from all over and to do that show, to do that film. It was crazy. People from Kenya, Nigeria. It was people from all over coming
Yeah.
in to just to help make that beautiful piece.
I love it. What was it like ultimately working with all of those different people from those different backgrounds? I thought it was just the Italian people, but you just mentioned it's like people from all
Oh
over
no,
coming.
we had so many people from different parts of Africa that came in. We had some people from England, Spain. We had stunt guys from all over the world. We had stunt guys because they were in the gladiator scene. People were coming in from all over, in
Yeah.
different parts of Italy, the United States. It was just a melting pot of just beautiful people.
Mm-hmm.
People, and just to experience them, they'll be like, oh, where are you from? And you'd be like, oh, where are you from? And then when we get off work, because everything closes at 4, then you're running to them somewhere at a restaurant or a pizza parlor or somewhere getting some food because
Uh-huh.
starving. We are starving because everything shuts down at 4, and then everything it opens back up at like 7:30, and then
Mm-hmm.
then we got to probably be back at work at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Mm-hmm.
our eating schedule and our sleeping was totally off. It took a long time for our sleeping schedule to get off, but it was, like I said, like if you look at James' Instagram feed, his social media page, you'll see them singing, dancing. Because when our first day there, they were dancing, like dancing. That's when they were doing the crucifixion, like one part of the crucifixion. And I was just like, oh, okay. Because I've been on sets where the directors play music, but nowhere were everybody just dancing. All of the people, all of the background, the actors, the actresses. Oh my God. Maria was dancing. It was just Anne Marie was dancing, RJ was dancing. Everybody was just dancing. I think it was Burner Boy. They was playing Burner Boy.
Okay.
And I just was like, oh, okay. Like I just was like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is cool. And I promise you, we worked our tails off. I promise you, we were tired.
It sounds like it.
We worked our tails off, but we also had fun. That was like one of the funnest sets that I have ever worked on.
Yeah.
Like I had fun on Queen Sugar. We always had fun on Queen Sugar, but we didn't to that extent. No.
Yeah. What is the process of getting hired as a hair department head for a film?
I don't know.
Or what was your process, at least for this film in particular? Like, what was the process for you getting that
Oh,
role?
we put in for it, and then we were on a show, and they were like, "Oh, that's getting ready to start." So we was like, "Oh, okay, oh, okay, we can't do it." And then my agent called me because they had a switch, they had a change in the creative department, and then they were like, "They need somebody now," and I was like, "Oh," and they was like, "Oh, we know," because we got home from a man at full. Me and my co-department head Wayne, we got home the day Thanksgiving Eve.
Mm-hmm.
The day before Thanksgiving. I think him and his family might have made it home. I think his wife told me like 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. And I got home at 1:30 in the morning because my flight was delayed because it was like lightning and thundering. So everybody was home. And then that Saturday after Thanksgiving, my agent reached out to me. And because what happened was the line producer was with the same agency. And he had reached out and said that they needed, to switch up some stuff. And so she was like, oh, okay. And she called me Saturday and I was in the bed and I was like, oh, okay. And then Sunday it was like a definite. And then Monday they did our deals. Tuesday they booked our tickets for Wednesday.
So you didn't have to do like any interviews or anything like that? What? Wow.
Because they had already knew somebody that worked with us before.
I love that.
Yeah, who did I interview for? We didn't interview for a Man in Full. We didn't interview for Shirley because they had worked with us before. I interviewed. Did I interview? No, I sent in me and my key Wayne because he's been with me since Queen Sugar. We had to do a write-up, like a display, a presentation for One Night in Miami.
Okay.
I had to do a presentation for One Night in Miami, and I morphed the characters that they wanted to play, the actors. I morphed them into that person.
Mm.
And he had all of the knowledge about Sam because of his granddad, and my grandma used to play cards with Sam Cooke.
Oh Lord, that's so cool.
Yeah, my grandma, the one that has, my grandma is from Roanoke Rapids, but she lived in Norfolk. And when I called, I said, Grandma, I said, what you know about Sam Cooke and Malcolm X and all that? She said, oh, she was popping gum. She said, I used to play cards with Sam Cooke, sure did, when he was in a gospel group. She said, and he got a daughter down the street.
I swear older people be having the best stories. Like, yeah, me and Malcolm X used to just go kick it. Like,
yeah. And my other grandma from she lived in Augusta, wherever in Georgia. She said that she grew up with James Brown. He was living in a whorehouse. James Brown. She said that thing was bad. And he was bad because she was older than him. She was like, he was real bad. He got beatings all the time.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I sent in a presentation for One Night in Miami. I did interview for Queen Sugar. I want to say I've interviewed, I want to say that when I've interviewed for jobs, the ones that I interviewed for, I don't think I got. I didn't interview for Uncorked. That was my first real department head job. I didn't interview because they knew Niecy Nash. I didn't interview for that. I didn't interview for Cherish the Day because that was still a Ava DuVernay department, and Calling Them Black and White. But Ava met me on When They See Us. And
Nice.
and then Regina met me on Beale Street.
I love this. I just Ava and Regina. I just love it. The first name basis. Just
Yeah, Regina King met me on Beale Street, and then from there it's history. The one night in Miami, and she was like, "That's why we did the presentation. Nobody called us. The producers didn't call us. I did the presentation, and I put everything together, and I emailed it in. And well, what else did I? Yeah, no, we and just I did, and just like that, I did an interview with John Melfi.
okay.
I did an interview with John Melfi, and I got the job. And I didn't think that I was going to get the job, and I got the job. I interviewed
Nice.
John Melfi, and he was a blessing. He's so sweet.
You gotten to work on some
I
really
love
cool
working with
projects.
John and PK on, and just like that. That was a blessing, because I didn't even I thought I was just going to be, oh, I'm going home and chill with my nephew and my son.
Yeah.
I'll be home. It was right after Queen Sugar, so I didn't even anticipate getting that job.
Wow. What was it like working with Matiki on this film? Like, how do the hair department and the makeup kind of mesh together to come up with the final product?
It's crazy because whatever makeup department head I've worked with, we always everything seems to come together. Like, I would show her, we would look at pictures, and then she would just enhance it, just because nobody had lace fronts back in,
Right.
back. But we had to we cut the lace as far back as we could. And Matiki, her makeup artist, Matiki Allison, they covered it up with the makeup, the stencils. And I was just like, you saved us. Because what that palette that we were using was turning ashy, like to cover up the lace, it was
Yeah.
turning ashy. And we can't do, how every day girls or women are walking around with the lace fronts with the baby hairs. We can't have no baby hairs.
Right. Back in those times.
Hiding the lace. We can't have that. We're not going to do that. This was before Christ, but nobody was wearing that, and we can't do that. And so we were covering it up, and you have to use the proper kind of makeup that's going to cover that lace, because those cameras are insane.
Pick up
They will
everything.
pick up any and everything, any speck, anything. And she highlighted and she covered it up, and you couldn't tell no one, even the people that didn't have it around the hairline, you couldn't see it. She looked out. She enhanced everything that we did. Everything that she did enhanced everything that we did. It was just an even flow. Even with Miss Antoinette with the clothes, everything came together. And we weren't with wardrobe, was in a whole different department than we were. They were in that department, a whole different location.
Yeah.
People were across the cave. It was like big cave. It was across the cave from each other. So we were together, but we weren't with Miss Antoinette. So we was on WhatsApp, and she would show us the outfits.
Wow.
But everything came together. It just came together. No matter where we were, it just meshed. She was like, "What are you going to do?" And I'm like, "What are you going to do? What do you have planned?" And it's because we were right there, so it was so easy for us to talk to each other. And just working with Matiki is a legend, because Nathan Bush, who was my department head on When They See Us, I did him, and then the pilot with Regina King. First we did the Home Sisters, and then we did When They See Us. And he had been talking about Matiki ever since I met him. Matiki got a brownstone. She saved her money, and she brought a brownstone. Matiki did this, and we have our Matiki is doing Wonder Woman. And I was like, what? She's doing Wonder Woman. Matiki is here. So to finally, and then my other mentor, Debbie Young, I met her years ago. In 2008. I met her years ago when I first got it, and I wasn't even in the union, because being that I'm from Virginia, I had to hook and crook my days, and act like I'm from a local, and I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So I had to hook and crook my days. So I met Miss Debbie in like 08 or 09, and that was because I met a department head in New York named Cody Armstrong, and so I came to Virginia, to Hampton, Virginia, to do a palette, and that's when I first met Miss Debbie. But I've been knowing about Miss Debbie since The Wire, just never met her. Because when I was trying to get in the union and get my days, The Wire was done. They had finished shooting it. So I had met Miss Debbie, and Miss Debbie had always talked about Matiki. And then when I worked with Miss Carol had always talked about Matiki because they always so to
I
finally
love it.
meet the legend.
Yes, I
Everybody
love
had
it.
met her except for me. I was like to finally meet the legend and work with her. And I think I just talked to her last week. I have to, it's a blessing to work with people and know that they have you covered and they're watching over you and they're like you just following and they have so much knowledge, so much
That's
knowledge.
so cool. I got to get Miss Debbie on the podcast. I talked to Carol before, and I interviewed Ngazi. I don't know if you know
Mhm.
Ngazi, but I interviewed
Yeah, yeah.
Ngazi live.
Yeah, I met Miss Yes, yes. Everybody is on speed dial in my favorites on my phone.
I love how y'all are all connected. I really love that.
That's so crazy though, isn't it? It's so amazing how we
Hmm.
all like Gazi was with us on Shirley, Gazi. I worked with Gazi. I first met Gazi. I heard about Gazi. I first met Gazi when I went to Day Play. I think it was about the Robert, they was talking about John F. Kennedy when he got killed. So it
Okay.
was about Jackie Collins and Natalie Portman played her. And so
Gotcha.
that's when I first met Gazi. Or did I first meet her when they did it was the action movie, and they still doing it now because Janice had called me up to day play. But either way, I met her in 2012. That's when I first met Gazi in 2012.
Wow. I love that.
Mhm.
I love it. So you have to take us back to like your early beginnings, like as a hairstylist in Virginia. You were in Virginia, right? As a
Yeah,
doing
Virginia.
hair.
Uh-huh.
How did you transition, or what was it that made you get into TV at first? So take us back to like when you first started doing hair, you're in the salon. What does that look like?
So everybody watched The Wire. So The Wire came on first. No, Sex and the City came on first on HBO, and then The Wire came on.
Uh-huh.
So I remember watching The Wire. I remember watching The Wire, and she's is she Korean and black, the detective, or is she
Uh-huh.
black? Because her and Miss Debbie are cool. They still talk. Miss Debbie went to her daughter's
Oh, nice.
wedding last year. I think her daughter got married last year because I was on the phone with Miss Debbie and they were there. They had flew in for her wedding and her daughter's wedding, and her hair was one way and then it was another way. And I said, well, why they didn't get that? They need to get that. Like, you will be seeing stuff. I'm like, why is it this way? And so what was crazy is my son's father has cousins that he visits in Baltimore. So when we were going up there visiting, his cousin Trina would be like, oh, they was filming The Wire in that graveyard, or they was filming The Wire here, and they was filming
Uh-huh.
there. So I don't know how I came across IMDb, but I did, and I figured it out. And I started like emailing and texting the people that worked on The Wire. And oh my God, oh my God, and I just said his name. He was a barber up there, Ben Belton. Belton was a barber up there, and he told me that they had already finished filming it. They weren't filming it anymore. And then another hairstylist named Susie Mazzarisi gave me the information. She said, you're gonna have to get in the union.
Yeah.
How you get in the union. You have to do Broadway, commercials, music videos, film and television. She said, but it's going to be hard because it's nothing being filmed in Virginia. You're going to have to go other places and work and
Mm-hmm.
work your way in. You're going to have to tell people that you're a local and you're really not a local. You're going to have to figure out a way to get your check sent to a place, go find somewhere where you can get your check sent. I did that, girl. I did it. I called and I called. I called and called and called. And the blessing was they were filming Law Abiding Citizen, which Lawlette was on. I had
Uh-huh.
Law Abiding Citizen, Batman, and The Last Avatar
Oh,
all at the
nice.
same time in Philly.
Wow.
So I don't even know, got the production. I don't even know where I was getting the production names that were being done. I don't even know where I got that from at that time. So I ended up emailing a producer named, forgot a man name. He told me, he called me. I was at work. I was in the salon. He said, my department head needs somebody to help out. He said, you live in Philly? I said, yes. He said, he's going to call you. His name is Cody Armstrong. Cody,
Uh-huh.
he said, I need you these days. And he gave me the days. He said, yeah, I'm going to send you the call sheet. and this is where I need you to be. I said, okay, okay. Now I don't know what to bring with me. I'm about to bring my stove and everything. I just know I got a job. I got a job.
Uh-huh.
Bring with me. So now I start calling people. This guy, oh my God, I gotta find his name. He worked on Glee. He was a department head on Glee. He answered the phone. Don't ask me how. Then he started texting me. I said, do I bring my stove? He said, get electrics. Do not bring your stove.
Uh-huh.
Do not bring your stove, and let me know how it goes. Bring a blow dry. He told me brushes, combs, clips, hairpins, everything that you need to do to hurry up and get hair done. He
Yeah.
said, that stove and the Marcel's there. And he told me, he said, and so I called my sister Natalie, and I told my sister Natalie, she had just moved back from Tampa, so she was in DC with my other sister. She said, okay, this is what you do. You come pick me up. My uncle live in Philly, and we're gonna stay there. I drove up. I slept for like an hour or two. We got in the car and we drove to Philly. And I got there like maybe like an hour beforehand. She took the car. She went to her uncle's house and she said, call me when you're ready to come get me. You know how, call me when you're ready to come get me. And it was like sometime it was June. I didn't know what the heck I was supposed to do and what I was supposed to do.
Hey, but you gotta start somewhere.
This lady Barbara, she said, is this your first day? I said, yeah. I said, what I do, how I do, because I'm watching her, but she was in makeup. So it was one makeup and one hair. And so I'm just following. I had no clue what I was supposed to do. I got the people ready. Cody came there and he just was like, oh, okay. So then I'm doing the hair and I was like, how you wanted to look? He said, I'm just doing the hair. I had no clue. I'm just doing hair. He said, these are the everyday people. They in the office, da-da-da-da.
Right.
Make it quick. I said, okay. All right. So when we get to set, he said, have you worked on set before? I'm sitting there quiet. I'm just looking around.
Like, why you ask?
I said, no. He said, is this your first day? I said, he said, okay, I'm gonna show you what to do.
Oh.
Show you what to do. And he showed me, and it was another makeup artist, and she said, don't tell people that you're not from Philly because they're going to be mad that you got this job and they didn't get it. So do not tell nobody that you're from Philly. I had a client that I was doing. Her mom lived in Philly. That's where they sent my check. And then when the check came to her, she sent it to me.
I know that's right.
Yes, it was a blessing. And I worked until the end of the show. And because when he saw my car, he helped me take my gear to my car. He said,
Virginia tags?
He said, don't tell
Virginia
nobody.
tags.
Yeah, he said, don't tell nobody that you're not from Philly. Okay. He told me the same thing. And I worked to the end of the show. That's when I worked, and I was working the day Michael Jackson died.
Wow.
Because I remember being at work and everybody was saying that. And my sister, because she came up with me both times because she was not both times, every time, because she was in between jobs. And so she picked me up. And when she got out the car, she was like, did you hear that? And I was like, yeah. And then I didn't work anymore, probably like almost a year, until he came to Hampton and he called me to come to Hampton. And that's when I called my friend that's in the union now, Gayette, to come with me because they needed extra people. And that was her first time on set. And I was able to be like, do this, do that. And then he did an independent film and he called me up and he said, I know you need your days, so come on, cone up him. I'm split days between you and this girl named Nikki. You gonna work this part of the week and she gonna work the next. Then that girl messed up because she couldn't get her clients arranged. So I ended up finishing the show out. So I would just be driving back and forth to Philly. And then
this is just you getting your hours to even qualify for the union.
For my days. And by the time I got my day, I lost days before I got all my days because you have 3 years to get 180 days. And so being that I lived in Virginia and then Cody was working and he started working back in New York on a blacklist, I couldn't work in New York because my address wasn't in New York. And then I wasn't in the union, and so I wasn't in the union yet. So I ended up, when I went to Hampton to help him do that pilot, I ran into a girl named Nikki, and Nikki called me to do Turn because it's not a lot of union people, and I wasn't in the union. And so she told me it was a pilot. And I worked 2 days on that pilot because a lot of people were coming down from Washington, D.C. and Maryland working on it, and they were putting it up. She said, oh, that's this show. They're going to bring this show because people like history. They like George Washington. They're going to pick this up. And when they pick this up, I'm going to call you. She said, because you're going to get your days to get in the union. She said, because they're not going to come down here from DC and Maryland to be here in this cold, in the snow, and work outside. They used to work because that's when the House of Cards was playing up there. They on the House of Cards. So she said, you're gonna get your days because they're not gonna always want to come down here and work. And I said, okay. And when it came in, she called me. They started back up the following year in November, right before Thanksgiving. And she called me. She said, be here this time, sent me the call sheet. And I was like, and then Mercy Street came. And I talked to the department. I wasn't in the union yet. And she was like, I don't hire people that's in the union, but being that you did this and you work with Ashley, because Ashley was the makeup department head on both shows. She said, you work with Ashley and they vouch for you. You can run my background. And I said, okay. And I got my days. I was able to finish getting my days on Mercy Street. And what was crazy is Patina Miller. Patina, I think that's the last name that worked just the star Raising Canaan. Raising Canaan. She was on Mercy Street. That's when I first saw her. And so I got my days on Mercy Street in 2015. 2015, me and my son drove up for my interview, and that's when I got in. And then 2016 is when I started working in New York. I went to wig making school and started working in New York.
Nice. So if you can remember back to the first day on set, like what was it about what you did that raised the little flag? He was like, this your first time? Like what was it? Was the hair too perfect or?
Yeah, I was doing hair like in the salon.
Yeah.
I was doing hair like in the salon, and I wanted everything to be neat and in place. And he was like, these are everyday people. Everyday people are not. Hairstylists might look neat, but everyday people are not going to be always neat and always in place. And that's what I have to tell myself. Like tomorrow when I go to work, we're doing homeless people. We're doing women that live in shelters. So they gotta be, I can do it. It's hard for me to do simple hair.
Yeah.
It's hard to do simple hair. Like I can do current hair and period hair. I love period hair, 50s and 60s. But we have to remind ourselves that everything doesn't have to be in place, because regular people, like my department head from Turn, Artist Coleman, she said people should have flyaways because that's people should have a little, not long as it's not distracting. That is real. She had me watching this television show called Versailles. Beautiful. She was like, look at the wigs, look at the hair, look at it, just look how it flows. It's just not perfect and perfectly in place. That makes it real.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you too about the because I remember I'm in DC, but I used to go back and forth to New York all the time. People thought I lived in New York. And it would be times where people would offer me things, but knowing that I lived in DC, they were like, we don't want you to have to come all the way up here for that and stuff like that. So when you're, I don't want to say it is lying about your address, but do you think of it as just like I'm doing what I have to do to get my money, or do you see it as like, oh, somebody in this state could have had that opportunity and it's not being in integrity? I don't know.
No, because my address is in New York. I have a New York address. My residence is in Virginia. I pay both taxes. So being a New York local with a New York address, I don't get per diem. I don't get housing. It don't have to come out my pocket. So it's very expensive for me to work in New York.
Okay.
It's very expensive. It's always been expensive for me to work in New York because I have to pay to live up there. I have to pay to live up there. If I'm working in New Orleans or wherever else, in another city, and I've been thankful and blessed that I have worked out of New York more than I worked in. So it kind of balances out, but I have to tolls, gas, driving back and forth.
Right.
It's expensive. It's very expensive for me to work in New York. So when I come to New York and work, I don't play. I ain't come there to play. I came there to work and get it done. And I drive back and forth, and it's a sacrifice that not just me, but me and my son have to make.
Yeah.
In order to pay our bills and do what we got to do. I've gone to New York. I did an interview. Jerry Populous was my interviewer to get me in the union. And he also interviewed me to work on The Greatest Showman, because he remembered me from my interview, but he wanted to sit down and talk to me. And so, and my address was in New York then, even though I didn't live, because I have family that live there. I have best friends that live there. So if I'm not paying to stay in a hotel or Airbnb, I'm crashing with them.
Yeah.
And I drove up. I think he wanted to meet me at 10 o'clock. I got in the car, 2 o'clock in the morning, put my makeup on, drove up there, met with him for an hour, We talked about different wig makers, Marciel, Alex Ross. He showed me what he wanted me to do. He showed me the studio because he was at Steiner. He was like, I'm very proud of you going to wig making school. You taking that money out your pocket, going over there. And then I got in the car, I got something to eat and drove right back home.
Yeah, that's how it be.
In the same day. And I'm thankful and blessed for Jerry. I'm thankful and blessed for a lot of my mentors and department heads that I work with, because he gave me days on the Irishman. They played on the Irishman. Whenever he's working, I can always depend on him. If I'm looking for work, he will give me work. He gave me the Biden thing when I did the Biden president before he got elected. He gave me that job.
Nice. It's all about the relationships. I be trying to tell people building relationships is so important in this industry.
Definitely, definitely. I'm thankful and blessed for the people that are in my life that have just looked out for me, just always looked out for me. And you looking out for me is blessing me, not only me, but me and my family.
Exactly. So what's the significance of being a UK trained wig maker versus, I don't know, anywhere else?
Because the American wig makers and the UK our bases are different.
Okay.
If you flip a wig over, you can tell, because I'm American, but I learned how to make wigs over there. So basically my bases, the way that I make my wig base and my foundation is different than an American wig base maker.
Okay. So I'm a makeup artist. I don't know anything about hair.
When I worked on Turn, we had a wig from Peter Owen, Peter King, Natasha Laddick. Yeah, we had those four, and then Ray Marston. And Ray Marston, Peter King, Peter Owen are in the UK. And then Natasha Laddick is from LA. Well, she's not from LA, but she lives in LA. Her not origin, But when I flipped them over, because we had so many wigs, John Blake wigs, we had so many wigs on Turn because it was 1700s and nobody had short hair back then. And so I flipped my department head said, look at this wig base and look at those wig bases. And difference. And do you see why I prefer those wigs? Okay. And my artist is I learned so much from her about wigs, how to put them on, how to glue them on, to anchor them, to setting, to do the 1700s. Like, I love art. Everything that I know, my foundation with wigs and how to put wigs on and how to dress them and style them and put them on and just make them look good. And the lace I learned from artists.
I love it.
I learned from artists. Artist is the wig queen. And I was able to work with her. I day played with her on Lady in the Lake when they were filming that in Baltimore. And I hadn't seen her since 2017. So I saw her in May of 2022. We were doing that in May of 2022. And she, it was the 50s or the 60s and, the big hair, and just to be back there and have fun with her working in background, because background is fun, girl. Music and everything. I'm blessed and thankful to have met her. And I learned so much from her when it came to wigs. Her, and then I learned a lot from Sabana Majid, because Sabana Majid came under Jerry DiCarlo. So my wigs styling and all of that, I learned a lot from both of them.
Nice. Do you still take clients, or does TV and film like tie up most of your time?
I can't say that I don't take new clients, because I just did a girl, because I wear faux locks. I pretty much, when I'm working, I wear braids, micro braids, faux locks. It's either faux locks or micro braids, either one of them. So I did her hair, because I need to get a shampoo bowl. So in my garage, with being that we went on strike, I had to say, I can't. Plumber, bowl, I got to pause on that. So my older clients that I have been doing since 98, they come to my house. And their hair is shampooed or not. But it's probably a handful of them. It's a handful of them. And I'll do them because if I'm home, and they be like, hey, you gonna be home this weekend? I'm like, yeah. And I'll do them. But new clients, because it's in my house. But my older people, my ride or dies has been there since 98. Yeah.
I love it. Have you given any thought to like what you want your legacy to be as far as working in TV and film? Just like how you were able to name all of these people, like they came from this person to that person, that person. Like, do you think about your legacy in that way? Like they came from under Nakoya and this and that.
I don't know, like the end game. That's the end game for me. It's an Oscar or two, an Emmy or two, because I haven't. We were shortlisted for One Night in Miami,
Uh-huh.
and I had no clue. The Keegan makeup. Sabrina had texted me. She was like, "You're in the Bake Off. You're in the Bake Off," and I said, "Girl, I'm not baking nothing. What do you mean? I'm at work." She was like, "You don't know what that means?" I said, "Sabrina, what do you mean? I don't know. What are you talking about cookies? What you talk about?"
Right.
And I had no clue until she sent it to me. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And we were just working. That wasn't like, "Oh, we're doing this for an Oscar, or we're doing this for an
Right.
Emmy." We were just working and doing the best we could. We worked our tails off. And that was when COVID started, and we didn't even know what COVID was. And I was
Right.
sick as a dog, and had no clue what was going on. I was going to die in New Orleans. I called my son. I said, "Baby, this might be it for me."
That.
But I say an Oscar or two, an Emmy or two, three. But what was crazy is when I did Regina King's wig I didn't know that they were her and Niecy were because her hair stylist, that was her personal on The Watchmen. Niecy did her hair for the Oscars. For the Oscars. And so Niecy, I think they had maybe like another wig that they were planning on using. And so Niecy called me. I was day playing on the Deuce, and she was like, you think you can do a wig?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I packed my stuff. I said, "I ain't coming back." On the Deuce, y'all don't need me. I'm just day playing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so I came home, and I was on my where I worked, this workstation, which was my son's desk when he was in school that he never used. And so I turned it into my workstation. And I had up there, and this is when people were saying affirmations I said, "I will be an Oscar-winning wig maker." That's what I said.
Yes.
"And I will be an Oscar-winning hairstylist." I had no clue that she was going to be an Oscar winner and she would be wearing my wig.
Okay, the wig is on the stage. I did
Said,
that.
"Oh, thank you, Jehovah." Like, it was something came out of that, Jehovah. I had no idea. And then for it to look like her hair, because her hair was long, then it was down her back. She always has a lot of hair. And so I have to get back to writing those affirmations, because I stopped and I need to start doing them.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to, it's crazy because my mom doesn't do hair, and my mom is not a hair person. My grandmother doesn't do hair, and she's not a hair person. But they will sit there and be like, "Well, you needed to do this, or you should have did this." Like, they're perfectionists. Like, even when I cut my grandma's hair before, my grandmother hasn't had a relaxer in I don't know how long. And I used to press her hair out with the Marcel and curl it. Like she had a short cut, and curl it and spike it and stuff for her. She didn't even have a relaxer. And if that cut wasn't right, she would pick it out and she'd be like, "Okay, you need to do this, and you need to get this. This ain't right. Nakoya, come do this, right? Come get this right here." My mom, I don't think so. They are my biggest cheerleaders and my biggest critics. Like,
Right.
"You needed to do this. I would have did this." And my mama can't do hair at all. But
She can tell you about some hair.
my grandma used to press our hair, and my mom did, but my grandma pressed our hair the most. And when we didn't have, when we were younger. So I just want to make them proud, and my son proud. And my son, he's so like, "What, I did something." And he was like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean?
How old is your son?
He's 23 now.
Okay, because they be
But
so unimpressed. They was
it took a lot for him to be impressed. It took a lot. When I was in, he was like, "Oh, okay." And then when he came down and I flew him in my first season, he was just like, "Okay."
right. I see what's going on.
Then he was impressed. It took a lot, and it takes a lot for I don't think I impressed my nephew until I said, "Oh, I met The Rock," when I did wigs for the Jungle Cruise. And he's just was like, "You met The Rock? You met The Rock?" And so I just want to make my family proud, and everybody that works for me. like my crew, all of that, because I just want to help them support their families and their families be proud of them and their work, our hard work, because we work hard.
Y'all work
Very,
hard.
very hard. And I just want them to be able to take care of their families to be proud of them. That's my legacy. I would just want to pay it forward to everybody that has looked out for me. I just want to make sure everybody is good.
Yeah.
Everybody's taken care of, blessed, can put food on their table, get their kids through college, grandkids, and they can leave a legacy, because even though we work in this film, we have to have other streams of revenue. We figured that out during the pandemic.
Exactly.
The strike. This can be our legacy, but we have to also have other stuff going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything that's coming up next for you that you could share?
Oh,
I know
child.
y'all be on top secret NDAs and all these things.
I don't have anything.
Oh, okay.
Not as yet. Not as yet. My agent is looking. I don't have anything. I'm just sitting here waiting and seeing what Jehovah got for me. It ain't my plan, it's his plan. As long as I'm day planning and I can pay this mortgage and this car note and this insurance.
Okay.
That's it for me. That's it. I'm having fun day playing. I really am. And I'm thankful and blessed. So I can't complain. Whatever's for me is for me. But I do want to, when I got in the industry, I got into it because I wanted to sit and watch whatever the work that we did, everything that we did on screen. I wanted to eat popcorn
Yes.
and watch. And I was able to do that with The Greatest Showman, and I was able to do that with the Book of Clarence. And it was so crazy because when we went to the premiere, that was the second premiere that I was able to go to. And the first one was with my son when I did what was it? Something on the lake. That was one of my first department head jobs, and I had no clue what I was doing at all. Because Cody was like, "What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing." I said, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this." And my son was young too, and I was gone for like 2 months. I was devastated. I was gone. I came home like once, in between that, and that was on his birthday.
Uh-huh.
And something on the lake. Something. It was in Roanoke. Dang, I'm mad. I don't remember that.
So my Lady in the Lake or Lady something.
It was Jane Seymour was in it.
Okay.
And I learned a lot from her. Jane Seymour was in it.
Okay.
And she, the medicine woman, she played the medicine woman.
I know Jane Seymour.
I learned a lot from her. She was so sweet. And he came with me to the premiere, and it was a girl named Scotty Thompson. She played in this sci-fi movie that was real big out at that time. And so they brought her in for that. And so when they came to the premiere, when they brought it in the premiere, I brought my son with me. My best friend, my mom came up on the next day, but Jameer came because I had to do her hair and her makeup. And so Jameer came with me, and they had an Airbnb. They had rented a house up there, and her dad and my son have the same birthday. So he took him swimming in the lake. I said, "Please don't let my baby drown."
Okay.
"Please don't let my baby drown." She was like, "He'll be fine." But he came to my first premiere. That was my first premiere. Him, Malika, my mom. And that was my second premiere. He came to LA for us. Gayette came, Wayne came with his wife. We all came, and we were able, that was the second premiere, and it was so crazy for him, and we had popcorn, and we were able to do the after party. It was amazing to have him there, because even before he got in the business, when he was young, I'd be like, "I'm about to rap this time." He knows all of the lingo, rap, call time. You know what I'm saying? All of that, rolling. He knew all of it. Even my nephew, if he FaceTimes me, he said, "Oh, okay, they just called rolling. I'm gonna call you back." And he'll get off the FaceTime with me.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. Okay, well, this has been a great conversation. I can't let you go before asking you the Friends of Beauty rapid fire questions that you've been looking forward to.
Okay.
So whatever comes to your mind first, you can spit it out. If you need to elaborate, that's fine too. So the first one is, what are the top 3 keys to your success so far? 3 things.
Top my faith, endurance, and versatility, being able to adapt with all the changes that come in. And then you also have to be versatile, because in our beauty field, something might be in today and it might be out tomorrow. People have different trends and different looks that they're doing. So you have to be able to be fluid within all of that.
Absolutely. How do you measure your success?
I don't.
He said, I don't.
I don't measure it. I don't measure it. I just do my best. I give it 250%. Anything that I do, I give it 250%. If because I'm so shy and I'm bashful and I'm humble. And then people say you can still be humble and still know that you can do what you can do.
So you can
So
still be humble and pop your stuff.
yeah, I'm so humble. I'm just thankful and blessed because I have gone through the fire. I've been through a lot. And to be here, I'm just thankful and blessed that I've been guided with my family, my structure, and my foundation. And I have so many people that have supported me when my son was young and getting him his dad, my mom, helping me rear him. And that I was able to work in Virginia until his last year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Junior year. And
Okay.
that's when I started working in New York. So, and he's self-sufficient. So I just measure it by him, my family. I'm here and I'm able to sustain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's my measure. And I
Yeah.
can keep working, have a good reputation, and people know if they hire me, they're gonna get everything that they're looking for and more, with not just me and my team.
No, that's right. Okay. What's the best advice you've ever received, or a piece of advice that's just always stuck with you?
Oh gosh, I get so much advice from Debbie. And then also one of my clients that passed away from cancer, she told me if it's fast, it doesn't last, and if it's slow, it grows. So, and I'm a fast mover. I'm like, and I'm always leaping and before I think. And so that's one thing I have to slow down and take time. And Miss Debbie also told me to you got to think and you got to pray. Even my mom, think and pray before you make decisions because I'm a leap first. And you know how people be like, go leap off of faith. And then, but I think I took it out of context and,
Yeah.
and don't have it and not know what I'm doing. So I've been just taking my time and not just saying yes to everything or not being afraid to tell people no, that it can't get done. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have to try something else. Like So those are my things. I have to think, I have to pray, I have to just chill.
I like
Because
that.
even when I did Miss Tyson's hair when we were on church today, she said, "Girl, you move too fast. You need to slow down." Like, you making me nervous. Just slow down. Okay. What is going on?
Got you
They
making her
gonna be
nervous.
fine. Yeah, she said they're gonna be fine. I'm gonna get there when I get there. Just slow down. I said, okay.
All righty.
Mhm.
Shoot.
She said, when I get there, that's when I'm gonna get there. They not gonna rush me, and you not gonna rush me. So slow down and let me
Yeah.
eat my food.
Yes, ma'am. Well, that's all
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
say.
And
Yes,
that's all I
ma'am.
could say was yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They would like I said, I'm not telling her anything.
Uh-huh.
Tell her. Because she can have and do whatever she wants to do. She has earned that. Miss Tyson has earned that.
I know that's right. Is that Elf?
Oh no,
I'm gonna say it looks up. I guess this the knockoff version.
I got this one, and I'm so addicted to this. I'm so
Uh-huh.
addicted to this. And they have a night mask, but I just keep that on my bed because I use my thumb to get it out. But this one is, and I got another one. Like I'm addicted to that.
Okay. Cool, cool. So the next one, what advice would you give to another, let's say, TV film hairstylist who is just not seeing the results that they want in, that avenue, and they just like, maybe I should just do something else.
It takes time, but I can't even say that it takes time. It takes time, but you have to put the effort in. You got to network. You got to call people. You got to word people to death. Like you have to not be put your ego to the side and just keep calling and keep texting and keep emailing and be present in people because you never know when somebody's going to need your skills to do something. I don't have no problems with knocking on somebody's door, kicking the door that I'm here. Do you need, it's so many producers that I emailed and text and called for work that I am working with now. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember emailing you. Like, oh my God, I remember texting you. Like they
Right.
no job though, but I still ended up working with them, because
Right.
I wasn't what they were looking for. I wasn't experienced. I had just got in the union. So you get a good reputation. You work hard. You give it 200%. You're not lazy on set. You always there when people need you. You got to know people. You have to figure out how they move. Your department heads move. So before they know what they need, you know what they need.
Yeah.
So you have to always be viable in any atmosphere that you're in. You have to always. So it's going to take time. Sometimes it's like my friends now, Gayette, Travis. It was easier for them to get in the union than it was for me because there was no work in Virginia when I was trying to get in. It was, and that didn't come until years after. They were able to get in the union after Walking Dead, Harriet, Bluebirds, the Good Lord Bird. They were able to get those days off of those shows.
Got you.
They were back to back. It was far few and in between in Virginia. You know what I mean? So it's going to take time, but I know that for the people that are coming behind me, it's going to be sooner than what it took for me. Because everything is changing, and there's so many shows and so many productions, and you don't never know when somebody's going to need your specific skills. So you have to always be viable, work hard, and don't be faking it. If you don't be lazy and be faking that you really not lazy, because somebody is going to see that,
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I love it, love it. What is a resource that helps you in your business that you can share with the friends and beauty community?
A resource
Mm-hmm.
in regards to looks and hair, like hair and hairstyles and stuff. I'll say Pinterest. I get a lot from Pinterest, Googling, and then social media. But then also what I love is being out and about and seeing different people's styles and looks and stuff like that. You're like, oh, okay, they did that. No, okay, they did that. I like that. I like that look. And I love complimenting women on their different, like, intricate hairstyles, how they switch this around and switch that around. Like, that's why I love going to different places in different states and different cities. So you can just see people in their element, just being out and about and then watching shows. You gotta watch. I love watching shows because I love seeing what my coworkers and what they're doing.
Right, right. Yes, I love that. So this is the last one. I'm gonna let you off the hook. So it's just I want you to fill in the blank. I just want you to say my name is blank with Nakoya, and the key to longevity and success is blank, whatever you think it is.
Okay. My name is Nakoya, and the key to longevity is just having faith, knowing that there's a higher power, being humble, and always being thankful and blessed, and working hard and giving it 200%. Even just, and then also taking time out for you, because you will get burnt out if you don't. Your family and your friends, they're important. You can't put them by the wayside, because what we're doing now is not forever. We're not curing cancer. We're not doing anything that's, in far as in the health business. It's like, so don't take it seriously, because in this field, you will be replaced. You will be replaced, but know that if you fall, you break your leg, you break your ankle, they will be like on to the next.
Right.
So be viable, but also don't forget what's important. Don't forget what's important that got you there, that gets you up in the morning,
Yeah, I like that a lot.
and always be viable and fluid.
Yeah, so that's excellent, excellent, excellent advice. Before you go, you have to share your social media, website, however you want people to connect with you and continue to follow your journey.
And I need to get better at posting. My Instagram page is I am Nakoya, Nakoya. My website is I am Nakoya, Nakoy.com. And then I'm also working on my wig base for Cinema Illusions. I want to be focused because I have lupus discoid. My aunt has lupus, the whole shebang, and so and then dealing with cancer patients and war victims that lost their hair in the war. So I'm trying to just come up with something that is, because the way we put wigs on for film and television, everybody can't do that. And then the way that you can get the stock wigs with the thing, everybody, that doesn't work for everybody. So I'm just trying to come up with the way that is more conducive and more effective and more easier for like my aunt who has issues with stuff like that. So I've been trying to bust my head open and do it. But I could have did it for the 5 months off, but I started a trucking business.
I know that's right. You try to make this money come. Yeah, I get it.
But I'm working on that now. You know, I can really only do it on the weekends when I come home. So we were talking about different ideas when I saw her yesterday.
Yes. Okay. Well, Nakoya, thank you so much for your time.
Well, yeah,
I definitely learned so much. I learned so much just from like listening to you and everything like that. So I really wish you much success on everything that you continue to do, and we'll definitely stay connected for sure.
I truly appreciate you. I truly, truly do. And then, I truly appreciate you. I just take time out and maneuvering through my crazy schedule.
Of course.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another friend in beauty. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, rate, and leave a 5-star review so that other friends in beauty can find the show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.